Hey friends, I am Lisa with Made to Create with Lisa, and we're here today to oh, I'm getting a weird message on my phone. Sorry. We're here today to make a cute pumpkin shelf sitter. I don't think that have we made a shelf sitter yet? I can't remember, but this one's going to be cute. We are going to use today a frame that you can get from the Dollar Tree. And this is an extra one that I have. So I left it in the packaging so that you could see exactly what it looks like when you see it. It comes with the wood beads already up at the top, which is very cool. And you can just, obviously this is a fall one, and you can dress it up however you want, or you can leave it plain. But of course, we're going to just use the frame and make our own, right? Okay, so that is what we're using today. And yeah, I think that that's it. We're ready to dive in and do a fun project. All right, so let me bring you over and we will point you down. So happy Thursday. I can't believe it's the end of the week already. So like I said, we are using one of these frames. And what I did is I opened it up and popped out the back. And that's what's nice about this particular frame is this is the back, and you can just remove it. So you don't actually have to glue your art piece to the background. You can actually just switch it out like a regular frame. So that's really cool. Hey, Chris. Okay, good. You found some and you're ready to go. Okay. Well, here is your idea. Okay, so the thing about this is I plan to do several different seasons with it, which will be nice. Okay, I hope you're not getting tired of it yet, but we're pulling back in our Harvest Meadow DSP, Designer Series paper. The other thing that we're going to use is there is some coral colors in here. And I really thought that the polka dot pattern from the Peach Designer Series paper was cute. So I used the polka dot from there also. Okay, so those are the two that we are using. So what I did is I measured this, and I think it was 5 by 5. And I cut myself out a piece. And this is just the crumb cake color, which I think is just kind of a nice background, but it does have a little bit of a pattern, so that's nice. All right, so like I said, we're gonna make it removable. So I'm not even gonna glue this on the actual back. We'll just, you know, decorate it as is. All right. Now, actually, you know what? I never actually even put it in here. So let's make sure. Okay, good. I wanted to make sure that I had the right size. Okay. So what we are using today is the Pretty Pumpkins stamp set, as well as the matching dies that go with it. And those are called the detailed pumpkins. Okay. And so what we will do first is we're gonna get a couple pumpkins ready for our project. So I have the soft succulent cardstock here, and then the matching stamp pad. And then I picked out this gorgeous pumpkin that has all of that pattern in it, the leaves, and well, I guess it's all different leaves that make up that whole pumpkin. I think it's beautiful. Okay, so I'm just going to stamp it on this little piece. I found this scrap piece in my drawer, so I just thought, oh, that'll be a perfect size. Okay, so what we're going to do is pull in our mini cut and emboss, and we will die cut this out. I have to grab the die, that would help. Okay. So this is the outline die for this pumpkin. And we will just lay it on there. And die cut it out. Let's feed that baby in there. Crank it through. I'm trying to do it without too much wiggling. There we go. All right. And now it is die cut out. See how easy that was and how cute that pumpkin is? All right, so we are done with that. And you will be happy to know that I die cut everything else out without you having to watch me. Okay, so I cut out several of these same pumpkins, the same exact shape, except I cut them out of the DSP. Then I also, see how there's like all these other really cool dies in here? So this one cut out the polka dot pumpkin here. And then isn't this fantastic? So look at what this one looks like, cut out of copper foil. This is the brushed metallic cardstock, and I love it. Okay, so that one's the foil with that detailed die. And then, in case you haven't gotten enough, this is the cork paper. Now, I did just notice yesterday that it is on low inventory. So if you want to grab some, get it before it's gone. All right. The other thing that I did is you've seen me use a lot of these little leaves lately. And so these are with the, I think it's called the Intricate Leaves dies. And so I cut out some out of more of the brushed metallic cardstock. So this is the gold, and then the copper, and then more of the cork. Okay. And I actually have more here that I did just in case I need them, because I don't ever want to feel like I'm running out. Okay, so we're going to put that aside. And what we're going to do is just create a scene. I have to pop out all my little guys there. Okay, so we're just doing the usual thing where we create a scene. And you know what? I'm going to pop this in here one more time just to make sure I don't go too close to the edge, so that then it would, okay, so that's about where I want it, right there. Okay, so see, you can do it about that close to the edge. And then the whole thing will make it into your scene. So what I like to do is just layer these up however you think would look cool. I wanted some different colors so that it didn't look too boring. But I also want the stems to show. So see how we'll just kind of make it look like a little bit of a pumpkin patch look like that. Kind of just layer them on top of each other, okay? Okay, the one thing I did forget is my dimensionals. Let me grab them. I'm running over here, grabbing my dimensionals. Okay. We want to be sure to have some varied heights, right? So you definitely want to be able to have some dimensionals. So the first thing I'm going to do is attach the detailed one. So we'll kind of slide this off to the side. And I am classic for not gluing anything completely all the way down. I'm one of those that just kind of finds some thick areas, kind of does some, I just do some little dots, some highlights. I never glue on these detailed dies. I never glue them down all the way. Okay, because I find that if you just do a few, it holds it down just fine. Okay, so we will just sit that down, get it to adhere. I don't know exactly where I put the glue. There we go. Okay. Yeah, aren't these awesome, Chris? I love them too. Okay, now I can't remember exactly. I think that I want this one kind of in the backdrop there. So I'm going to glue this one straight down as well. So you don't need much glue. And you just kind of work with it and stack it up. And, you know, it's not a hard and fast rule as to what exactly it's going to look like. So that's good. Okay, I'm pulling in my linen thread here. And we will see if this stem is too hard for me to deal with. It might be just too stinking small, but I wanted to give it a shot. Remember what we've talked about. Sometimes you just need to give things a shot and see if they work. See, it's stacking all up there and then it slides off the top. So you know what? I just don't think that's going to work. Yep, it slides off. So I'm going to skip that. And instead, we will make a double bow. So what I do is I fold my twine in half like that, and then I tie my bow. And then you'll just adjust it. And when you do the double bow with the twine, it just makes it a little bit thicker, so it's not quite such a thin look. I have to find my scissors. Yes, you need to get some cork paper, Marty, before it goes on back order. And you know what? In the world now, we are having such issues with shipping. Oh my goodness. It's not just Stampin' Up. Wow. Everything in the world right now is having issues with shipping. I saw on the news the other day that Costco has toilet paper sitting out in the ocean on a ship. So now everybody's going nutso with the Costco toilet paper hoarding again. You know what? I should have tucked this back there, but I already glued it down. Okay, I'm going to see if I can pop it off a little bit because I really want this tucked back there. It's glued down really well, but I'm determined. I'm going to peel it off a little bit so that I can get this in there. Let's see if that'll work, because I can always trim that off when I frame it. Yeah, I think that's gonna work. So I'm gonna put that there. Okay, so you can cut off the side of anything that like kind of hangs out the edge. And then I need a little bit more glue where I just peeled that one off. Okay. All right, you see how this is coming together? So now we will use some dimensionals here and kind of overlap these a little bit. And then I'm going to put some dimensionals on this one. And I don't have my little ones over here, so I'm just going to snip this one in half. And stack this one over here. Actually, I'm going to put it up like that. And then I'll put this cork one like right here. And I don't want it even higher. I'm just going to put some adhesive straight right in the middle there and just glue it straight down there. And then it doesn't make it yet another layer. Okay, see, and then we'll put this up there. That'll be cute. So first, let's arrange some leaves. So I was thinking I would do that. So let's put some adhesive. My go-to favorite adhesive is our liquid glue. I use it on everything. I don't know why I can't get that out. All right, just putting a little dot, and we will kind of crisscross those a little bit, those stems, and then we'll glue it right down there. Whoops, now it's stuck to my finger. All right, let's do a little dot there and adhere that. I'm going to put a bow up there too. Let's do a couple of these bows. All right, so I am using our glue dots. And yes, I didn't use them on the stems. I could have done that. Honestly, I really like using liquid glue because I know it's going to stay. Okay, look at that. I love it. So let's do one more of these double bows for this other pumpkin because I think that it's nude. It needs something on it. So here's my double bow. I folded my thread in half, and then I'm tying my bow. Okay, so Marty was here last week at a class, and she said, she told me she hadn't seen anyone cut the ribbon on the spool before like I do, which I thought was really funny because I just do it automatically. I didn't even really think about it. But yes, I'm a very frugal ribbon user, and so I always tie it right on the actual spool. Okay, what do you think? Isn't that coming together? So I'm just going to flip this over so I can see where I want to cut. We'll trim that off. And now I have my little pumpkin scene. Okay, now let me get my frame back in here. And let's see what it's looking like. That's what it's coming together like. Okay, so I think that it's a little bit blasé. Do you ever use that word, blasé? We're gonna do a little tag on the top of the frame. So what I did is I pre-cut out a few tags. These are the tailor-made tags dies, and I absolutely love them. They nest together, plus they have the little, like, what do you call these on tags? Like the washers or whatever that go on the top. So what I did is I cut out one out of the vanilla cardstock, and I actually did the exact same size out of the copper, the brushed metal copper. Okay, and then I cut out one of those little washer thingies, and it'll go like that. Okay, but first we're going to stamp something on there. So with our, it's still the same Pretty Pumpkin stamp set. We are using the Gather Together words. Okay, and we are actually going to emboss them, heat emboss them. So I have my Versamark pad, and it is a different kind of ink than the regular dye ink. It's a pigment ink, a juicier ink, and it leaves everything really wet for a while. And what you do is you stamp. I want to make sure it's all on there. Stamp directly on your cardstock, and it's clear. Okay, and then what you're going to do is you are going to pull out your copper embossing powder, and you will just dump it directly onto your tag, and then dump the extra off. And then what I do is give it a couple really firm flicks. And if there are any extra dots, I always have like a really small paintbrush nearby, and I always wipe off any extra dots if I see any. And that is heat embossing. That's what you need. You need a Versamark pad, and you need the powder. Okay, and then you can dump your excess powder back in your container. And then you need a heat gun. I know this is a little loud, but we are just going to heat this up. And what it does is it melts the powder. I don't know if you can see it changing, but it starts changing and turns shiny. And that's how you know that it's done. And that's it. Can you see how shiny it is? And it's raised. I love it. Hey, Brenda. You know what, Marty? I'm going to have to look up the price of the set. I can't remember offhand, but I will look it up and I will let you know. Okay, so I'm going to layer those together like that. I just think that looks really pretty. Okay, so we are just going to put a tiny bit of glue on this little washer thing. If I'm calling it the wrong thing, you have to tell me. I don't know what it's called. I mean, it looks like a washer to me. Okay, so that's adhered on there. And then I want them to kind of stay at an angle like that. I don't want them to flop. So I'm actually going to, you know what? I'm going to use a dimensional. Instead of doing them directly together, I'm going to do a dimensional on that. And then they will look like they're casually draping oh so beautifully at a beautiful angle. And then we have that little tag that can go onto our frame. Okay, so let's put this thing together. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we are going to lay, okay, you know what? I told you that I'm gonna make this interchangeable, but I think that I'm lying because I wanted to actually glue something else on here. What do you think? Okay, I know you're gonna be shocked, but I want to glue some Spanish moss down here. Are you tired of the Spanish moss? You're gonna think my whole house is Spanish moss, but it's not. Just in the fall time, it's just kind of a nice sort of a filler. So here I am with my Dollar Tree Spanish moss bag that I keep pulling out. Pretty soon we're gonna be going to Christmas stuff and then you won't see the Spanish moss anymore. Okay, but just let me have my Spanish moss for like a month. Okay, whoa, that's way too much. Okay, so see, I just thought if we glued some Spanish moss down here on the bottom of the frame, whoops, that it would give some dimension and be like a, you know, kind of fill it in so that it doesn't look empty. Okay. So I'm going to pull actually more of this off. And what I'm going to do is I am going to use my hot glue gun and put it directly onto the frame. Now you got to remember, people, this is only $1 from the Dollar Tree. So if you ruin it, all is not lost. It was only $1. All right, I'm gonna stuff that in there and we need to give it a haircut. It's a little bit wild. I like things wild, but this is even a little wild for me on my frame. Okay, let's see what we've got here. All right, it's winging up a little bit too high. So we'll probably have to trim it and push it down a little bit more. And I will work on that because I don't want to keep cutting it. I want to make sure that I have enough down there. So I will trim that and make sure that it looks good. Okay. Now we're going to tie this up there. Okay, hold on. Let me wipe this all out of the way, because I have something very cool to show you. Okay, this is very messy. Okay, now what we're gonna do here is we're gonna add a bow. So I had a little bit of raffia left for my last package, so I actually took all the scraps together and made a bow with them already. And so we're gonna layer this on. Okay, so that's the first touch. And see how that kind of is filling in sort of like the empty space up here? Okay. Yeah, I like this side better. Okay, so we will put a blob of hot glue up there and hold that on. I also really am not a huge raffia user. I don't know, this fall I've been using it like crazy. Only in bows though. I don't really use it any other time. I just like that sort of a hay look. It looks fallish, doesn't it? Okay. Now, prepare yourself for this. Okay, we have used this on several different projects. This is the Shimmer Ribbon. Okay, it's this super shiny gold ribbon. And I got this technique off of the Stampin' Up. I don't know, Stampin' Up shared it with us, and I don't remember if it was like on the Stampin' Up page or what. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my scissors and I'm actually going to cut off one of the seams of the ribbon. Okay, so it's going to take a second. I just have a length here. I wanted to make a bow with this, so I kind of looked at how much ribbon I would need to make a bow. So we're just going to cut all the way along the outer seam. Okay, I have to tell you that we were like practically wearing tank tops last week, and oh my goodness, fall has fallen. It has been pouring down rain here in Washington State. The temperatures have dropped. All the fall leaves are starting to fall like crazy. It is just so cold all of a sudden. Okay, so see how I have this seam? Hey, Karen. Oh, thanks. I did get my hair cut, and I forgot, yes, that people don't recognize me when it's straight. Okay, so this is off the side, and now the edge of this ribbon is free. So what you do is you just start pulling it off, and it comes out in these super, super fine gold threads. Look at that. They're like as skinny as hair. Is that not so beautiful? So what you do is you just continue to just work it off and pull it. And then I'm just kind of laying it in a pile here because I want to make it into a bow. So then you grab sort of another section and work it off. And the closer it gets to the seam on the other side, you just have to be sure to hold it straight while you pull, and then it just pulls right off. And then again, we'll sort of lay it in our pile. And then I think I can get a few more off of here. And you just work it out. Okay, this leftover piece is totally cool too. Doesn't that look something like something you could use at Christmas time? Okay. So I don't know who thinks of this stuff. I just see the idea and run with it because I'm like, oh my word, that is so cool. Okay, so you're just working it off. Until you get it all the way to the end. Come on, there we go. So this is what I'm left with, and I absolutely will use this for something, but not today. So I'm going to put that aside. Okay, and I'm going to put this seam aside too, and I will definitely be able to use that in the future. Okay, so then I'm going to take all of my little threads, kind of comb them out, and then we will just tie them into a gorgeous bow. Whoops. There's a lot of threads going on here. Okay. There. You don't want to pull too tight because I think that these are so fragile. Look at that. Can you see how gorgeous that is? Can you see how shimmery and beautiful that is? Oh my goodness, I love it. Okay, so let's pull this back in. And we are, oh, hey, what happened here? My raffia did not stick. Well, that wasn't very nice. Okay, I'm gonna have to hold that on there again. And then, oh, good, Wanda. I'm glad you're gonna make one of these. Okay, had a little blob there. All right. If for some strange reason this isn't gonna stick, I don't know why it wouldn't. Maybe this is too shiny and it won't stick. No, I think that's gonna stick. If it doesn't, I'll have to use a different kind of adhesive. But all right, now I'm going to put a little blob there and adhere this gorgeous gold thread bow. Make sure it's stuck into that glue blob. Oh, look at how pretty that is. And see how it's picking up the golds in the frame. And then the last layer I wanted to add is, do you remember the diamond weave ribbon that we used last week, and that you can cut that in half as well and then make it sort of a frayed look? So this is one of those pieces, and I am going to tie that into a bow. I don't want it too big. We'll work it around there. And let's see if we like it. So I thought it would kind of mute out that gold just a little bit. See how pretty that looks, all layered up? Now it's so messy, it's hard for me to see. Yeah, I think that's the right side. Okay, so we'll put another glue blob on there with our final bow layer, and we'll push that down. Now see, some of these threads are like winging out, and I love that because they're kind of flyaways. This side is honestly a little bit long, so let's trim some of that off. But I'll adjust that. Okay, isn't this coming together? And then we have our little gather together that I thought that we would tie on there. So I need to figure out exactly how I want to do it. I honestly might just glue it, or I might use my linen thread and figure out how to tuck it under there. But I'll do that. I'll do that later, but that's what it's going to look like. I'm going to have that tucked in there. And then that will be our finished piece. So see how the Spanish moss just sort of filled up the bottom there and made it more 3D looking. And then of course this layer of gorgeous bows is fantastic. So that is what I have for you today. So let me pull you back up here. So yes, I forgot that that I have my straight hair today, and people don't recognize me. It's my costume. I can walk right by people and they don't know who I am. Anyway, so I hope that you love this project. It's backwards if I hold it up, but here it is. And I hope that you will try to make one too. And if you do, you totally have to show me and send me a picture, okay? I'm trying to think. Let's see. Today is September 30th. 30 days has September. So it's the last day of September. So that means that today is the last day of celebration. So don't forget to put in a last minute order if you have one, and then you can get those fun free things, those extra benefits during celebration. And I will post a link in order to get these beautiful ribbons and stuff, a link to my website. And if you have a friend that loves projects like this, if you would not mind spreading the love, and I would love it for people to be able to participate and follow my page as well. That would mean a lot to me. So thanks again for coming and spending your Thursday lunch with me. And I hope you have a great weekend, okay? And don't forget that you were made to create. Bye.